Next thing we're going to look at is 7 chords. And the 7 chords builds on the ones we've had before, called triads. And 7 chords include one more note than the triads. A triad was the major or minor chord that we looked at, and this has another one. And the triads had 3 notes, so this means that we're going to add a 4th note to the chords. So we're looking at chords including 4 notes, and they build on a triad. So you start just as we've done before. So what we learned about triads we will use here as well, but then you just add another note to it. The 7th chord is called the 7th chord because the 4th note that you add is the 7th if you're counting in a scale. But we don't have to mind that much. So I put this as knowledge just to explain the name, but you don't have to know it and remember it. It's just so you know why it's called a 7th chord. The one we'll start to look at is more specifically called dominant 7. There are different types of 7th chords, but even that you don't have to mind that much. We're just going to start at looking at something called 7th chords. We will look at one type of it, and it happens to be called dominant 7. But not even that, we have to remember that carefully. The essence here is that we have a triad and we just add a 4th note to it. And we know that it's a 7th chord if number 7 is added to the chord name. So for example, if you have a G chord, a triad that is a G major, and you add the number 7 to it, like at the bottom here we have the G, and then here's a 7 added, then we know that we're dealing with a 7th chord. Same thing in the other example here. We have an A minor, so the first part of the chord name here says A minor, and then there's a 7 added, so we know that we're dealing with an A minor 7th. Looking at how to do these, we start with what we know from before, either a major or minor chord, so a triad. And then we build on it if we're making a 7th chord and add 4th note that is 3 keys away from the last one in the triad. So counting from the 3rd key that we had in a major or minor, we add another note that's 3 keys away. Let's look at an example to understand how the 7th chords work. We take just a normal triad, either major or minor, and now we will start with an F chord as an example. So we have 3 notes that are included in an F major chord, and you have the formula right here for a major chord, and that means that the root is here on the F, and the next note is here, the A, and then the 3rd one is 3 steps away here, that's the C. And up here you have the same thing, how it's written on the staff. So F, A, C. Now what we'll do is that we will add another note, a 4th note to this, that is 3 steps away, like we said before, from the 3rd one of the existing chord. So we make it an F7 and we add something to the formula. Here's the thing that we've added, and that means that we go from this one, from the C, and we count 1, 2, 3 steps away, and there's our new note, the 4th one of the chord. And if we look at what that adds up here on the staff, that means that we have the E flat, and that's the same thing here on the piano, so the E flat is added. So it's as simple as that. We start with what we already know. We have a triad, a major chord, in this case an F major, and then we made it F7, which means that we add another note, a 4th note, 3 steps away from the last one we had before. This gives us a new formula that we can add to the existing ones. A formula for creating 7th chords, and in this case the dominant 7. The ones are just written with a 7. So on your paper where you're supposed to gather all your formula, that could be a paper that you have somewhere where you know where it is, but it can be on exercise papers, or if you make one where you know for sure you have your formulas. The formulas are the key to creating chords. and write it like this. If it's a 7 added to the chord, then you start out, like it says here, with a minor or major chord, and then you add another key that's 3 steps away from the last one. So keep that formula so you have it, and we'll look at some more examples of how to make use of it. Here's a D7 chord, which means that the first part of this indicates that we're dealing with a D major, and then we have another key to it, which because it's the 7th, so we have root and then plus 4 plus 3 plus 3, and that gives us our 4 keys needed for the D7. So here's our the D, just a normal D major, and we add the 4th key, which is a C, and that's on the staff looks like that. So a D7. Another example, in this case, we're starting out with a minor. An A minor is what this tells us, and then added to it is a 7. So this is an A minor 7 chord. We start out like before with the root, and then the 2nd and the 3rd key. So that makes the root plus 3 plus 4, since it's a minor formula we have to start with. And here we see up to the left what it looks like on the staff. And then we add another key that's 3 keys away from the last one. So here's the last one in the A minor, and then 1, 2, 3. So here's where we have a 4th key of this chord. And if we look on the staff, that's a G that's added. So if you look on the piano and on the staff, you'll see that it was a G on both of them that we added to the chord. And the way we pronounce the 7th chord is simply you add the word 7, just as it's written in the chord name here. You add it to the end, you just say 7. So A minor 7, that's how you pronounce this. So get out all your formulas in one place. We have the triads, the minor and the major, and now we have another one, the one for 7th chords, and it's when it's only a number 7 that's added to the chord name, because this is, like I said before, it's a dominant 7, but we don't have to mind it really. We just have to know that if it's a 7 added, then we have a 4th key that's 3 keys away from the existing triad that we started out with.